program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
It's time to hit the pick. Touchdown! Sports betting, fantasy football, and the latest NFL news. Featuring Loud Esmond and Christian Giordani. Bet on us to make you a better bettor.
What?
It's time to hit the pick.
Loud in the house, hosting the show tonight, sporting my Strikers sweatshirt for probably the last time of the season. Not just because the weather's turning warmer here finally, but NASL season ends this Sunday. So might pack it up and be waiting for Black Friday of next year when the season traditionally kicks off. Scott Steen, the Steamroller, joins us here. Hey, Scott.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm good. I need to get this out right at the top of the show. I am, of course, giving away all my UFL picks at hitthepick.com. Hitthepick.com. You can get every single one of my UFL picks, and I'll pick every game all season long. There's only 4 a weekend, so it's not like trying to pick every college football game, and there's like 70. But tonight, Arlington Renegades against the Birmingham Stallions. Both teams are 2-0. There's a big demarcation between the good teams and the bad teams. And unfortunately, you're going to get weekends like this all season long when you've got 2 games that are going to be pretty good and you got 2 games that are absolutely going to suck. I mean, the Roughnecks and the whoever and the Brahmas and the whatever, blah. But tonight, actually one of the better games of the weekend. You got 2 2-0 teams that look pretty good. The Renegades' running game has been fantastic. They've played decent defense, but then again, they've played 2 teams that really suck on offense. So what does that really mean? The unders have been cashing. It's 7 out of 8 on the season, 4 for 4 in the unders last week. But historically, in about week 3, the scoring starts to pick up. So
I've got that game on right now. You can tell it's a battle of 2-0 teams. There are thousands of people in the stands disguised as empty seats. So another big crowd in Birmingham to root for their Stallions.
Yeah, there are 2 teams that draw. The DC Defenders do pretty well. The St. Louis Battlehawks fill the stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, they sell out, which is crazy for a UFL team. Anyway, the pick tonight, over 38.5 or over 39.5, wherever you can get it. And then it was Renegades +3 earlier in the week. That's as high as +4.5 at game time. And that would be my play because you got 2 pretty good teams. I don't expect either one to get blown out. Scott?
Yeah. This is the part where we start talking about the UFL and I say, over to you, Loud.
Oh, thank you. Or as I do when you talk to me about basketball, pass.
You know, here's the deal. I would be a little reluctant to play an over on 2 teams that you've seen 7 of the 8 games in the league go under. That's just my initial thoughts. But like you said, if there's some week 3 magic that we're going to see, okay, I'm here for it. So we'll have that.
Here's what, if you're not a UFL person, here's something really important to understand. The league loses money, okay? And so they like to keep their expenses down. So this year, they normally have like a 2-week training camp. And there's no preseason games played. And they don't play scrimmages against each other because they're too worried about injuries. So they come into the season having not have any live fire at all. So the offenses look really clunky the first couple of weeks, but then I looked back over the past 2 seasons. Week 3, the scoring starts picking up. And then for some reason, week 4, it sort of pulls back a little bit, and then it's Katie bar the door. You get a lot of 35-38, 32-28, 40-35 types of games going down the rest of the season. Because honestly, the defenses aren't very good the latter half of the season, and offense sort of takes over. And this league is designed to enhance scoring because of the kickoff rules, because of the clock rules, because you can score 1, 2, or 3 points from on a conversion after a touchdown. I mean, you can get a 9-point play on a touchdown.
That's right. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's, it was designed to enhance scoring. Now, like you and I both said, early in the season so far, scoring, I was on the Gabe Morency show on Wednesday night. I just said, look, and I went through a litany of how bad all the offenses are. And he kind of jumps in and says, wow, you're the league ambassador. Because I'm just talking about how awful the offensive play has been so far. But it has been.
It's tough to watch, right? It's tough to watch right now, man. It's like watching it's like watching lower level D2 competition right now.
It's like watching a monkey try to screw a coconut.
I don't know that it's quite that bad, but sure, you certainly paint a picture, buddy.
We try to help. Anyway, so that's the game tonight. I know you don't have, any further thoughts on that. Major Arena Soccer League, the final is on Sunday. So it is the Chihuahua Savage, and everybody wants to call them the Savages. They're the Savage. There is no S. So it's the Chihuahua Savage against the San Diego Sockers. And if you don't know the history at all of the recent reiteration of the Indoor Soccer League known as the Major Arena Soccer League, the Sockers are kind of the Patriots of 1998 to when Tom Brady left. They are in the championship hunt every year, and they win it like every other year. So early in the season, and I am so upset that I cannot bet in the Major Arena Soccer League in the state that I'm in because it hasn't been allowed yet. Because about 3 games into the season, the San Diego Sockers to win the championship were plus 850. And I looked at that and went, are you kidding? I would go drop a couple $100 on that right now today because they had a few injured players, and there's weird things about this league, okay? Players come and play in the Indoor Soccer League in the United States when whatever league they normally play in South America or Europe or Asia or wherever is in the off season. So you sort of have players that come in and go, and they had several players that were coming back from injury, and they had several players that were still playing in the Kings League over in Europe that were going to be coming back by mid-season. And I said at the time when I was doing one of my videos, I said, man, when the Sockers get all those guys collected, they are going to get really tough. And now here they are in the championship. They're playing in their home arena, Front Wave Arena in Oceanside, California. And it's a field that's a little unique. It's bigger than most. I know. Who knew? Some of these fields in Major Arena Soccer are smaller than others.
Well, I mean, that's not all that unusual. You've got different size ballparks in Major League Baseball. I know hockey rinks used to be of different size. I don't know if they still are or not, or if they're now finally uniform. But there used to be little intricacies with the NHL arenas as well. So, I mean, yeah, it's unusual, but it's not unheard of in sports.
Right. And their field plays particularly slowly because of the turf that they have. A lot of these stadiums are basically carpet over cardboard over ice.
Mm-hmm.
Because they mostly play in hockey arenas.
That's the one I went to see when I went to see the Comets play here in town. That's exactly they played over ice. No question
and
about
the
it.
Soccer ball just screams in those places.
Mm-hmm.
And it bounces off the boards in crazy ways, and there's a lot of scoring because of it. The turf is taller and slower where the Sockers play, and it gives them a unique advantage there. And it holds scoring down, and it hurts teams that are built on speed, which the Savage check the box. Built on speed, want to play aggressively, and their field is particularly small, the one that they play in Chihuahua. Add to that, they can't bring some of their best players to play the game because
that's the real kicker.
You're right. It is the kicker, so to speak. How weird is that?
Do you have in front of you their home and away splits? I'd just be curious to know them.
Oh, they score like 17, 15, 20 goals regularly when they're at home.
At home?
And when they're here, it's more like 10 to 12.
That's a significant dip in production, my friend.
Yeah, it is a significant dip. So in the final game on Sunday, you have the Savage plus 1.5, and you have the money line only minus 137 for the Sockers. The over-under for each team number of goals is 5.5, and the total over-under is 11.5. What's wrong with that picture, Scott? With the just the numbers, 5.5, 5.5, and 11.5.
Well, obviously they don't add up to over the 11.5. So it's kind of a problem right there. So you're thinking play both teams over would be the smart play there.
Yeah, I'm thinking both teams over and the total over, because I think the books have overreacted to some early playoff games being very low scoring. But then in the second round, the scores looked a lot more like normal regular scores in the MASL, which tend to be high, like 12-7 or 9-7 or 8-6. I mean, the average goals scored in an MASL game is between 13 and 15 is average. So I in this play, the championship game, I would go light on minus 1.5 for the Sockers. I would go heavy on the money line. I would bet both teams and the total over, but I would favor the Sockers over 5.5 more than the Savage.
Okay, there you go.
So that would be my play there. All right, before we get to the UFL, you don't bet on golf.
I don't. I have I occasionally. I don't never say never, but maybe 3-4 bets a year, something like that. I'll get a tip from somewhere. I'll see a social media post, and maybe throw a little piece of money on somebody. By the way, for people that are watching this after it's live, 12 minutes is the spot you want to fast forward to. So,
yeah, exactly.
It's been a fun tournament to watch. I like that they now finally make the early rounds available from the beginning to the end.
By the way, this is why I always wear dark clothes.
Why is that?
If I spill on myself.
Oh, there you go. Right. It used to be so frustrating. The biggest golf tournament of the year, and you could only see it on Saturday and Sunday from like the 11th hole on. It was dealing with the Masters people was sometimes very frustrating. It's nice that they finally got it worked out where we can see the early rounds and we can see it from beginning to end. So, it's been entertaining to watch. I don't know if you watched it at all today, Loud, but they had Justin Thomas, one of the most incredible chips you'll ever see. He was approaching the 8th. He was stuck behind a little bit of a berm. He had to fly it over the green, off a hill, spin it back down, put it within about 4.5 feet of the cup. Just phenomenal shot. I highly recommend anybody that's watching this, if you didn't see it, just Google Justin Thomas chip on hole number 8 on today, Friday at the Masters. Unbelievable shot. Is that how you make them, Lou? You spin them back like that?
You know what? I used to play golf a lot when I was younger because my dad was a big golfer and he dragged me along. I suck at golf. I always did. I was never good at it.
Right.
I actually had a near hole-in-one once playing golf in Vegas in a tournament for the Building Industry Association. But other than that, that's my one moment of glory, and it's like, a blind squirrel in a nut. Right?
You said you made a hole-in-one, or you almost did?
It stopped 2 inches from the damn hole.
Heartbreaker.
I was so angry. Heartbreaker. Anyway,
I put one within about 3 feet one time on a par 3, as close as I've ever been. So
yeah, I don't play golf anymore. I hurt my shoulder about 8 years ago, and I lost my swing completely. I went to the driving range after I'd rehabbed for about 2 months, and I was feeling pretty good, and my swing was just gone.
Yeah.
So, and I was a lefty anyway, so I was always doomed.
I blew my shoulder out throwing the football with my son when he was coming up. He was a quarterback, and that kid could throw the ball at 13 years old. He could throw the ball 55 yards, and I threw my shoulder out trying to stretch out the distance between the two of us because at my age, whatever I was when he was 8, 10, 12, whatever, I couldn't throw the ball that far. So I ended up blasting my shoulder, and I can't. If I go, I take the dog to the park, throw the ball. I'm good for about 3 overhands, and then I'm sidearming or underhand. Still just trashed it. So I can relate, bud. I mean, tried to play golf since then.
The left side of my body, I can barely lift plates into the. When I empty the dishwasher, I can barely lift plates into the cabinets with my left shoulder.
There you go. It's hell to get old, buddy. It's hell to get old.
Okay, so this is interesting. Justin Rose is leading the tournament. I believe he's like -7 or -8, but he's leading by like 3 strokes.
He's minus. No, he's -8. He's up 1 over DeChambeau.
Oh, he's only up 1 now. Okay,
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I was listening to it earlier in the day. So even though Justin Rose is leading, he's plus 850. So he's in 4th place. Behind him barely is Tyrell Hatton at plus 1200. Is he the Canadian golfer?
No, Tyrell Hatton is from England.
Oh, I thought he was the Canadian golfer or a character from the Empire in Andor, this series.
Ricky Hatton's brother. Ricky Hatton, is that a golfer?
Yes, was.
Okay. All right. I don't know if they're really. I don't think they are. I think Ricky Hatton's American. But anyway.
And then there was the guy that just came back that did 3 years in prison for sexual assault in Britain or Greece or something. Anyway. Interesting story.
I don't know that story.
Yeah, I forget the guy's name, but he's a Spanish golfer. He's older. And I remember I love him because he made one of the greatest shots I've ever seen at the British Open. What is that called? I'm sorry.
Well, they just call it the Open, but yeah, the British Open.
Right. Okay, like the Ohio State University. So he was up against one of those stupid brick walls, like 10 feet from a green behind him. He's smoking a cigar, and he's a long-haired Spaniard with curly hair. Forget the guy's name. He hits into the wall with a wedge. The ball goes back over behind him, lands on the green, and holes out.
Impressive. Impressive.
One of the greatest shots I've ever seen. So Scotty Scheffler, plus 400. Bryson DeChambeau, plus 360. Rory McIlroy, plus 360. My problem with betting on golf is like any of these guys could win, right? I mean, it's not like, it's
not a binary choice. It's like betting on a horse race or a NASCAR race or something like that. You've got multiple
but in
options.
Horse racing, there's so many things to look at: the jockey, the barn, the trainer. I have a system where I assign a certain number of points to each one of those things, depending on the value that I see, and then at the end, I have, this horse is worth 17, this horse is worth 23, this horse is with. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's how I handicap horse racing. I have a system. That's about 55, 57%, right?
In the money?
Better than losing, but not great. And I am not a big stack horses or do wheels or any of that exotic stuff in horse racing.
Okay.
I will take 2 or 3 horses in the same race that are not super high favorites and not super low long shots, and I'll bet them all
7 to 12 range,
right? And I'll bet them all to win, place, and show.
Okay.
Anyway,
so who you got? Let's talk some golf.
Well, that's the thing is, any of them could win. So I'm just trying to think: is the appropriate strategy in betting golf to sort of splash the field, like pick like let's say you have 1,000 units. Do you go, okay, I'm putting 200 on Rory, 200 on Bryson, 200 on Scheffler, and then 150 on Rose and the rest on Hatton, right?
Well, yeah. With this tournament, the way it's set up, I think you could bet 200 on Rory, 200 on Scotty, 200 on DeChambeau, and save your $400 for a nice meal. Because I think it's going to be one of those three guys.
Right.
Justin Rose, he had a great round yesterday. He
kind of 71 today or so.
Yeah, he shot 1 under today.
Right.
So I think he probably had his moment in the sun. That's a hard tournament to sustain. Obviously, you'll see a lot of guys. See, that's the thing. Usually, first 2 rounds, you'll see a lot of unfamiliar names. There's probably an amateur in the top 10, maybe.
Right, and then it gets serious on Saturday.
And then Saturday, what they call moving day.
Right.
And that's when all the action happens. But now you've got these guys, the best players in the world are all within 3 shots of the lead. You've got Scheffler that's 3 back. You've got Rory that's 2 back, and you got DeChambeau that's 1 back. So you've got guys that can make the move. And then you've got some of your guys. You've got like Shane Lowry. You've got Tyrrell Hatton, like you were talking about. I tell you what, I don't hate Victor Hovland. I think there could be some value there. What's his price there, buddy? It's Victor Hovland. I've got it plus 28.
See, if I was going to bet on the Masters at this point, I would be looking at somebody who's like plus 2,000 plus, who I think has a realistic chance that they could win.
Yep.
And that's the way I play it, because there's no Tiger Woods anymore, right? There's not one guy that's going to win every tournament.
Right.
So it's going to come down to good breaks, bad breaks. They're all professionals. And I think if there was a top 25 golfer that was plus 2,000 or more, who was within spitting distance of the lead, they needed to make up 5 or 6 strokes.
Yeah.
That would be the way I would play it.
Well, you've got a couple different options there. You've got Hideki Matsuyama, who's 5 back, and you have Colin Morikawa, who's also 5 back, and both of those guys are paying a pretty good price. You can get 25 on Morikawa, and you can get to 40 on Matsuyama.
Well, and the other thing about both of them is those Asians are reliable.
Well, Colin Morikawa is American, so. But yeah.
Well, no, but he's still,
American.
One of them.
What?
Pulling your leg, Scott.
I didn't hear what you said.
I said, isn't he one of them? I'm pulling your leg, Scott.
Jesus. Oh, all right. Well, it took 25 minutes, but we managed to sneak some racism in. So
yeah, exactly. Well, if we don't have a little racism or sexism on every show,
that's try to sprinkle some in.
UFL tomorrow, terrible game. Roughnecks at Showboats. These are probably the worst teams in the league, with the Brahmas being like a step ahead of them.
Right.
Roughnecks are catching 3 points as a dog to the Showboats. This could be the last time the Showboats are favored for the rest of the season. I hate betting bad team against bad team games, because who the hell knows what's going to happen? So the way I would play that one is under the total. Okay. It's 35.5, which is low. But if either of these teams can score north of 17, I'd be shocked.
By the way, your game tonight, 10 minutes gone, 3-0. So you're on your way to 18 points, my friend.
Okay, well, there you go. I'm actually, that's all right. So 5 minutes gone, and there's only 3 points scored.
10 minutes gone.
Oh God, that I'm lagging my over big time.
That's what I'm telling you.
Who scored the 3?
I'm going to go with Birmingham. No, I'm going to go with the other way.
Then I'm winning that side of the bet. So that's fine.
Whoever the hell they're playing.
Sunday, the Panthers taking on the Showboats. The Panthers have been much more reliable. So I like the Panthers in this one, laying 4.5. And then my best bet is, I think the team that has looked the best on both sides of the ball, St. Louis Battlehawks. Plus, it's at home. They have the home field advantage. They have the DC Defenders coming, who just lost their defensive coordinator too. Their head coach left a few days before the season. He has cleaned out all the coaches now and taken them all to wherever he went in college. I don't know if it's I forget now where he went. Arkansas State or something. But anyway.
Wow, that's quite a move.
Well, yeah. And imagine he's getting paid more at some state school than he was getting paid in the UFL. So there you go. Battlehawks -5.5 in that game, the last game on Sunday. Now, the cool thing is, I don't like watching the early rounds in big golf tournaments. It's boring because none of them have a chance to win. But in this
somebody
case,
does.
What?
Somebody does.
Well, no, I mean, the early, like when they.
You mean they can't win on Friday?
No, the people that they have tee off on Saturday and Sunday, the early people who tee off are like 8, 10, 12 strokes out.
That's true.
1 minute, guys. 1 minute.
On Saturday. Yeah. Friday it's still scheduled, but Saturday, right. Yes.
All right. So the fun thing is watch the early UFL game this weekend, and then in the afternoon, flip to the Masters.
There you go.
That's what I'm going to be doing.
All right. Very good.
All right. This has been the Hit the Pick show on Friday night of Masters weekend. I'm not sure we made a lot of sense the entire time, but I did.
The half hour goes fast, buddy.
It does. All right. Thanks, everybody. Until next time.